Good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome along to round 4 here at the CRA, and this week we are taking on one of the most well-known venues here on the F1 calendar. Really, indeed, the season opening race in Melbourne. But it's not the season opener for us. No, this is indeed round 4. Once again, if you are new to the CRA, check back on our channel here at Cone Racing League. You'll see the earlier rounds from this season, but I'll give you a brief synopsis now. This is our development league here at CRL. We obviously want drivers of all abilities and experience to come along and have good fun with us. Whether you're new to racing or you're just learning new assist, then this is what the CRA is all about. Those drivers that are trying to improve their skills. So it's obviously with the development side of it, we do run a reduced format compared to our other two leagues, which you can also find on the YouTube channel. So it is this one 18-minute qualifying session, as you can see, followed by a 25% race. And we've already got some of the drivers out on track. You can see there JD, race winner last time out in Vietnam. He's reserving once again. Then this week he is in the Renault. Can he have back-to-back successes? We shall wait to see. We've got a few cars coming out then trying to make the most of these 18 minutes. Who will take pole position for this session? And already we can see a difference in tyre strategies. So the big thing about the short qualifying format is the fact that you compromise a lot of the time your strategy for higher grid positions, or vice versa. A lot of the drivers that opt for the softer compound tyres will still do the one stop. However, they will not be able to go as long on the first stint, and they will start higher up. But adversely, on the good side, that is, if there is an early safety car, then they can jump into the box and change their tyres on to the mediums. Whereas if you're running the mediums and you get that early safety car, you cannot run the softs for the rest of the race. So here we go then. We'll take you on a hot lap here of Albert Parker's. We jump on board the Williams of the well-named J.A. Williams as he comes through the chicane of 1 and 2 into the second DRS zone. Then first technically on this lap, shifting down into third gear for the weird apex of turn 3, which takes you out wide on the exit. And it's turn 4 before the almost flat out middle section of 5, which you have to be careful not to run left and invalidate your lap, or it will send you into the wall as well. Up into the chicanes then of 6 and 7, nicely on the power from the Williams driver there. Then down then into the second middle chicane here in sector 2. Keep it nice and early. Then you're flat out through this next section up into 8th gear, reaching speeds of about 200 miles an hour as you shift down to 6th gear for the left-hander. Flick the car through the right-hander. Be careful not to take too much of that right-hand curve. Invalidate, or you'll be chucked into the arm code. Then it's shifting down out of the second DRS zone into this third sector, then through the nice and tight final few corners as Murphy is disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location, as we see Jay Williams come through the final corner. I'm not quite sure what's gone on with Murphy, but he has indeed been disqualified. If we jump on board with Murphy, J.A. Williams in 1:23.7. I think Murphy was at the pit exit, and unfortunately he suffered a second successive DSQ, which is not very nice for him. There is his car there, you can see, pulling to the side as Vegas on the softer compound tyre. Then you can see the difference in speed, 6/10 from their first lap. But NUFC Harvey goes 6/10 slower in the Ferrari. JD, last week's pole sitter, he's only... Oh, sorry, I didn't realise there's a second difference. So 1.4 seconds the difference on the soft tyres for the laps between Vegas and Jay Williams. And JD then almost a second faster. As we jump back down, and Nelu Safu at 121.5. Absolutely flying around this track then. 8/10 to my calculations, or just under that 7.6 or something like that. Here we got another medium runner then. Capawande in the Alpha Tauri comes in at P5 on those medium tyres. So if you were tuning in last week, you remember the almost race-long tussle between Capawande and Warrior Huntsman in that race. Unfortunately, Warrior Huntsman was the one, I think, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, that unfortunately managed to suffer a puncture as we see a car about to cross the line. That is Warrior Huntsman, then the man we was just talking about, who goes up into P4. So Warrior Huntsman takes that Alpha Tauri up into 4th on the same compound of tyres, just over 4.5 tenths quicker than his teammates. We've got another car coming across the line. That's Shadow Moody. He's gone 6th on the softs, but interesting to see there, 2 laps old, so he's obviously gone for 2 laps this time round. And I'm hearing reports that there is heavy rain in the race. So heavy rain forecast for this race. I think it's the first time we have seen it. Oh, as we got Racing Slade round. So Racing Slade in the McLaren going around into the wall. We'll need to change that front wing. We've already had 6 minutes of this session, and it's Nelu Safu that leads and is on provisional pole by almost 8 tenths over Vegas JV. Now, remember I was saying earlier on about strategies for the Grand Prix with the soft and medium tyres, but if the thoughts are to be confirmed that it is wet race, surely you would just be wanting to go on the softer compound tyre. If it was vice versa, obviously, and it was raining in qualifying, you get that free choice in the race, but this time around it is all about track position. Then I'll be surprised if in 11.5 minutes time we still see those yellow M's next to some of those drivers. Warrior Huntsman then currently in 4th dives into the pit lane. As we look, we got a racing point, and then that's Greg's Game Centre coming out of. There you go, my camera is playing up a little bit there. So Greg's Game Centre is coming out for his lap time. We love Greg here at our CRA. He was one of our drivers last year. Unfortunately, some problems means he hasn't been able to race. Obviously, we understand that everyone has lives, but it's good to see Greg back. What sort of time can he muster? He's currently down in 14th, but he's yet to set that time. 10.5 minutes or just over left as we see the Ferrari. That is MUFC Harvey then on his second outlap as he's coming through the middle sector now. So as we see these then, how do things stack up in the championship, I hear you ask? Well, Alpha Tauri then of Warrior Huntsman and Capawanda had a great result last week, took Alpha Tauri to the top of the standings, and by quite some margin. They are on 85 points, 52 clear of their closest rivals in the Ferraris. As for the drivers, Warrior Huntsman, it's an Alpha Tauri double. He sits in first place, 29 points ahead of MUFC Harvey, who we're on board with now for his second flying lap, as he sits in second with 33, and the Capawanda Alpha Tauri is in third with 23 points. So that's the state of the championship here at round 4. Following Vietnam, as we see MUFC Harvey on this second run there. The Haas of Carter pulling to the left allows him to come through down into turn 3, keeping nice and tight to the apex, running a little bit wide as you're allowed, and then you flick back right before you flick left again through this middle section up towards turns 5 and 6. Oh, he's very close there on the left hand side. You saw keeping those 2 right hand wheels on the track means he didn't invalidate, and he's managed to get through these sections clearly along the down straight, now up towards the intermediate for sector 2 very shortly. We can see nice and tight. You're allowed to take a little bit of the curb. It doesn't throw your car too much. You almost kiss the Armco on the right hand side there as you come into this long winding left hander. Harvey taking the very nice tight line on the left, again clipping that curb on the left hand side. Lovely apex on the right hand side there through the chicane, and he picks his DRS up again for the second time on this lap as he comes through the final few corners. Now, where's this going to be for Harvey? He's currently 8th on a 124.3, and Nelly's a 121.5. As Jay Williams on the softs, as he was on the mediums, he's gone second now, 122.1. And so can Harvey affect the front row as it stands? Doesn't look like it. He's in the 122s, and he goes 5th with a 123.1. Who's that in the background? That's Carter. So Carter a 124.4 as it stands. He's about to set his second flying lap then, as we see a few more outlaps on the go. Then Warrior Huntsman opting for the softer tyres. I did mention, there you go, Capawanda third in the championship on the mediums for his best time, but fitting these softs. JB on these softs as well. So I did mention with the rain, I would expect to see those medium times to go away, and that is indeed the case. What happens is Super Gabu crosses the line of 123.0, puts him into P5. Those times starting to tumble then as we watch on board with Super Gabu. Is he going for a second flying lap? We shall see. Currently Nelu then on primary provisional pole. So is this going to be an improvement in the first sector? No, it's a very, very slight adjustment. So while he does that, we'll jump on board with JB then. 125.3 sees him in P12, but he's looking to improve on the softer compound. They're about a second faster should you nail it correctly, as MUFC Harvey's invalidated his second lap, so it's back into the pits for him. What about Carter? He was on a flying lap too. Oh, as he almost drifts through that final corner. He's done very, very well to keep it. Might have cost him a few tenths though. And is he going to improve? He goes up into 9th place, and so just a few tenths, taking him 19 hundredths above Kapawanda and into the top 10. Remember, the rain is forecast for the race, so the top 10 will not be stuck on those tyres they qualify. They will be on wets. It's just a case of whether it is going to be full wets or intermediates. But if my sources are correct, it is heavy, heavy rain. So here is your current pole sitter then, Nelu Safu, as he comes up towards turn 3, looking to improve even more on that 121.5. Warrior Huntsman then crossed the line to go second, a 121.6. Wow, great lap time from him there. He was in 5th on those mediums, but those softs putting him up into P2. Who else have we got on a lap? We've just seen JB UK then going through. He's 1.6 seconds quicker on those softs, but it's still only P12 for him. See, there's another Alpha Tower. I believe that's Kapawanda coming out of the pit lane then. Sporting the number 21 Codemasters releasing the update that allows for the new numbers in, and Nelu Safu's 2300ths up on his best time. Coming through the second sector, then down, third sector down into the final chicane. Almost nice tight line there. You saw his teammate earlier drifting through the final corner, but Nelu's going to come across the line. Is he going to be faster? Yes, it is, by 1/10 of a second, almost 2 cents of a second. A 121.4. Will we see in these final 5 minutes a sub 121? Remains to be seen. We've got quite a few people in the pits at the moment. Jay Williams, one of the drivers on an outlap. Then last week's pole sitter JD, 1906 on that outlap. Can he put himself on the front grid slot again? He did it last week. Can he do it this week? Remains to be seen. Welcome along to you once again that are joining us at home for this round 4 of the Cone Racing League, and JB13 has absolutely flown around, a 121.7, jumping 10 places then, puts himself on the second row. Here we go. Now we're into that final 4.5 minutes, and we've got a lot of drivers out on track. Shadow Moody is one of those. He's coming through the middle sector now. Glorious circuit here at Albert Park. A little bit cleaner line through there than we've seen some of them. How much he's going to take this curb is nice on the edge. He's got yellow flags then. Hopefully that doesn't affect Moody too much. Looks like a Haas is running very, very slow. Go on the inside. Nearly managed to keep out of the way. Shadow Moody then coming through for his second. We got a Renault just behind him though. Hopefully they don't get in each other's way as we come through the final few corners. That is JD then, so he is also on his lap. We'll jump on board with JD to see if he's managed to get to. He's a 10th up, so where does Shadow Moody go, or does he stay 10th? So he improves very slightly and goes 10th, while JD is 5 tenths slower, so catching that Alfa Romeo, costing the Renault a little bit of time. We got Jay Williams then, he's 2/10 up on his previous best. As he comes up through this middle chicane of this Albert. Oh, he's very tight to the wall though. Coming round now through this very tricky chicane. The Ferrari pulling to the side. It's purple from the Williams driver. He's got a nice clean exit, stayed clear of the dodgy curbs. Through the final sector now we go. Remember he said a purple sector 2. Through the final few corners now, that nice tight apex on the left hand side for the penultimate corner as you come round turn 16 then. Where is this time going to be from Jay Williams? Oh, it's a 121.678. 1,000th slower than Warrior Huntsman. Has he got enough fuel to go for that second run though? Remains to be seen. We've got just 2 minutes left of this session. These 18 minutes have absolutely flowed. Capawanda still yet to set a soft time. He's currently on those medium compound tyres, but in the wet in the race you do not want to be down towards the back of the grid. He's coming through turn 15 now then. Round the final corner, he needs to find about 3 or 4 seconds on this long straight. It doesn't look like it's going to be an improvement. No, it's only 13th still. Sorry, it's 7th. So 122.7 puts him up into the top 10. His teammate then almost a second faster on a lap, and we've got the final few cars out now. There's a McLaren coming around the final corner. That is Racing Slade. Can he improve on his 10th place? Currently a 123.2 and it's a 122.9, so he goes up into 8th place. His teammate still in the pit lane then. As we see J.A. Williams coming round turn 15 now. He's backing out of this lap though, but he's got MUFC Harvey just behind him. He looks like he's still on the race. No, he's gone into the pit area, so that is his qualifying over. What about the 2 Red Bulls just behind them? Super Gabu's coming around turn 16 now. Stays nice and wide on the exit, puts the power to the floor, but he's run out a little bit of the RS a little bit too early. It's a 122.0. that puts him 5th. His teammate then on an out lap, he'll have time, 40 seconds he crosses the line with to spare. Can any of the others do it? We got Carter coming round turn 15. We got his teammate Nelu about to cross the line. Keep an eye on that. It's a 121.4, but he's on a flying lap then. The Renault of JD also starting his flying lap. Is everybody going to make it? Capawanda crosses the line. Will the Alfa Romeo make it with 20 seconds remaining? He's boxed, so that's his qualifying over. We wait then. Oh, we've got a spinner. Is that a spinner? That is Super Gabu. No, so he's parked himself out of the way from the other drivers, and that should be fine. The Haas there of Carter unfortunately making a mistake. It looks like he might have spun then, but we'll jump back on board with JB13 looking for that all-important pole position. He's still got Nelu out there with him as well as we come through the middle chicane now. Lovely clean exit. You saw a little bit of a kick though through turn 12 up through 13 then. 14 is the second of those 90-degree turns, and then through the penultimate corner of 15, round 16, staying nice and wide on the exit. Where is JB going to put that Red Bull? Is he going to stay 4th? He does. It's a 121.9, so he is 2/10 slower, but we jump back now on board with Nelu, who's invalidated, so he can't improve on his best time. What about JD 1906? Needs to be at 121.4. It's a 121.8 that puts him up to 5th. And we got Capawanda then, who is also invalidated, so it looks like qualifying is over. So there we have it. All cars on track have invalidated their lap time, so it is Nelu who takes pole position for Haas, reserving this week for champion Dino, but he's made a great stake for his seat as he goes pole position. He's 2/10 clear then of Warrior Huntsman, the championship leader, with Jay Williams on that soft tyre able to promote himself up onto the second row with JB13 in 4th. The Red Bulls are split then by JD. His 121.8 puts him behind JB, but ahead of Super Gabu. The Mercedes of Vegas is 7th with Capo Wanda in 8th. Both Alpha Tauris in the top 10, looking to boost their constructors' hopes once more. It's the McLaren of Racing Slade in 9th and the second Haas of Carter in 10th. A bit of an unfortunate qualifying for MUFC Harvey, sees him in 11th. Shadow Moody is 12th. We've got Matt retiring from 13th. Greg Game Centre is in 14th, but it's great to have Greg back on the grid. And Murphy suffering that unfortunate DSQ at the start of the session means he will start in 15th place. As we just count down these remaining seconds then. It looks like MUFC Harvey might have beat the deadline then, so I didn't see him come out, but he might have got across the line before he starts. Oh, he's got purple sector 2, but Capo Wanda on AI because of crossing the line almost takes him off the racing line, but it's still a purple sector 2 from Harvey. Is he going to disrupt the grid that I've just read out for you, or is he going to stay in P11? We come through turn 13 and 14 then, and he was purple in sector 2. Remember, he's currently 11th on a 1:23.1. He's through turn 15, shifts it left for the right-hander of turn 16. He comes down the final straight, and he stays 11th. So unfortunately didn't look like he beat the time then. Codemasters graphics confusing me once again, but it is indeed Nelu who will start on pole. Warrior Huntsman alongside him, and Jay Williams in the Williams in turn 3. Just 2.5 tenths there, you can see, between first and third, and 1/1000th of a second between being on the front row and the second row. Very close qualifying, all the top 7 within that second barrier. So as we wait for this race to start, we'll see if any of these can master the expected rain here at round 4 of CRA, part of the CRL Racing League. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We've also got the YouTube channel, so like and subscribe to that. Every race across our 3 tiers is streamed live and exclusive. So here we go then. We wait for the drivers to sort out their strategies on the grid. So you will see there is the rain that we have been expecting, and it is very heavy by the looks of things. So full wets expected from my end. We'll wait to see when the drivers are on the grid whether that is the case, but it looks like it will be a full wet race, which means there will be no pit stops. So this 25% race is about 16 or 17 laps. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it sure is going to be a challenge. Instead of lapping in the 1:20s, look for the 1:40s as they start to ready up now. Strategies all set, fuel loads adjusted. Wets or inters is the question right now, but it looks like it's going to be wets. Oh, and there seems to be no formation lap. So I was expecting there to be a formation lap, but no, we are away and racing here then. So Nelu Safu on those full wets gets away very well. Warrior Huntsman in a second. I think a few of those have been caught. Oh, we got a car off in the background there. Who's that? That's Super Gabu. So he has gone wide at turn 1, misjudged the braking zone, and he is down in 15th. We've got a few movers at the top. Jay Williams moving up past the Alpha Tauri of Warrior Huntsman, sees him jump into second place. Capawanda's had a lightning start. I think the lack of formation lap has caught a few drivers out there, but we start racing then, and it is indeed the full wet. So Nelu Safu leads by just a few tenths, and you can see all cars being very cautious. That looks like MUFC Harvey diving down the inside of the Mercedes, doing well to avoid themselves there as they come through 9 and 10. There is the no stops expected, but is that JD going slow, and Capawanda's in the wall. So not quite sure what's happened there, but the AlphaTauri of Capuanda is in the wall and doesn't seem to be able to get to grips with this wet weather as they're coming through 12th, and that puts Matt Warner up to the top 10. JD and Harvey battling as well as they come through turn 13. Oh, and the Ferrari gets down the inside and takes P6 already. 5 places gained on this opening lap. So as we come through for the first time, then it is Nelu who still leads from pole position. She's got 5 tenths to that. We got a yellow flags at the back. That looks like it's for Greg's Gaming Centre. So not a good lap for him so far. He's down in at 15. We dropped by 2 seconds. You can see gaps starting to form now across the grid. But this is the closest battle for the lead on track then. Just 4 tenths separate Nelu and Warrior Huntsman, who's adapting very, very well. Remember, it was inter conditions last week in Vietnam, but it's full wet conditions here at Albert Park this week. So Jay Williams dropping by half a second then to this lead group, and we got it. Is that a Renault of? Yes, it is indeed. The Renault of JD missing his front wing. He's lost it coming through the middle sector, and he will need to pit for a new wing. You can see him running off the grass there. That's not good for him. Matt Warner overtakes him up into 8th place then. Carter in 9th, and Capuanda looking to fight his way back through the field. Now take that final point on offer. You can see just how hard it is behind a car with the spray. As Carter gets a good run up on Matt. Is he going to make a move down into turn 12? Does it come through turn 11? No, he's not close enough. So slowing down though over that curve of turn 12, not really risking much at this stage as Nelu starts to pull a little bit away from Warrior Huntsman. That gap now over a second. Not that DRS matters, but that is significant because in the wet the toe is the most of what you got. Interesting fact I've just noticed is that both AlphaTauri sporting the number 21 then. See another fastest lap then in this race as Racing Slade looks to have had a problem. Yes, you can see he's missing his front wing, so the second driver to be caught out as he comes into the pits, as do quite a few of the other drivers. Carter is in, Capuanda is in, and so is, who's the 4th person in? Racing Slade and JD. So Racing Slade and JD, we knew our front wing damage. I'm not quite sure about Carter and Capuanda, but that is the situation as Jay Williams has dropped off by 2 seconds now. But there we see Warrior Huntsman was just a second behind Nelu, but he has suffered the same fate as quite a few of these drivers and is missing his front wing. So lap 3, and we've already seen, or will be seeing, 5 pit stops for these drivers. These wet weather conditions, full wet weather conditions, really catching them off guard. But look at that, MUFC Harvey up into 4th place, 7 positions gained already. Coming through turns 11 and 12. Now that is Vegas, started on the 2nd row, down in 5th now then, looking to catch up on Harvey, but at the front Nelu Safu is now 4 seconds clear of the drive line. Oh, but a little bit of a kick out from the rears there as he comes through turn 16. We got yellow flags once more. It looks like a Haas. Is that Carter? He's facing the wrong way. I believe that's at turn 8. Oh, and he nearly clips the McLaren there. Thank God for ghosting. So Carter suffering a second spin. The field sandwich between the Haas cars. A little bit satisfying there for those of you at home. Unfortunately not for the drivers. As Super Gabby makes a move on Matt Warner then. Takes 8th place from the McLaren driver. And then Warrior Huntsman there, you can see, is in for his pit stop. Replacing that front wing that he lost on the previous lap. We've had 4 laps already of this 15 lap race. Greg's Game Centre up into P10 and started at the back of the grid with Murphy in 14th. He now takes 10th and Murphy is 9th. So good start from these two. Helped a little bit though by that lock of front wings from all of these drivers at the back. We're not expecting inters, as you can see down the bottom there. So a lot of drivers, unless they suffer wing change, you would expect them to stay out for the duration of this Grand Prix. as we see Carter going round there, and looks like he's got his front wing intact, so he's kept that quite well. But here's his teammate then, 4 seconds clear of Williams, who's got 6 seconds between him and the Red Bull of JB13. But MUFC Harvey has been absolutely flying this race. He's up into P11, up into 4th from P11. And he's now got his sights set on a podium as JB13 runs a little bit wide. Vegas a further 2 seconds back from this battle, but we're going to stay on board with Ferrari as he comes through turn 15 there. You can see having to brake and slow down a little bit earlier than normal in these wet conditions, but he's looking for a good run then out the corner. JB13 a little bit of a kick out from the rear, but he's got a good set of traction on the edge of that corner, and he stays in front for the time being. That gap though, 4/10, probably the closest battle on track we've got here. As Harvey takes a little bit left, we've got another yellow flag. Carter's gone again, and that's the same place for him. How unfortunate for the Haas driver, not been the greatest of races for him. That's down at turn 8 then. His teammate coming up through turns 8 and 9 any second now. Still leads Jay Williams by 4.5 seconds. As Murphy makes a move on Greg then. Looks like Greg's had a bit of trouble on the exit of the first chicane. Still stays in 10th though, but Warrior Huntsman is on a charge. After pitting for that fresh wing and fresh tyres, he is down in P11, looking to extend his championship lead this week. Oh, and we can see there is a spinner. That is Murphy at turn 4. Has he kept that wing intact? We shall see. See, there is the car of Gapper Winder behind him. He's currently sandwiching the Alpha Tauri drivers. There is Warrior Huntsman back into the top 10 then. Oh, and Murphy's lost it again. How unfortunate for Murphy. There is a front wing intact though as Racing Slade gets past JD, who quite possibly makes it a 140 flat from Nelu Safu. Sees him take the fastest lap of the race then and extend his lead to 5 seconds over his nearest competitor. But JB13 and Harvey going at it once a thing, and Harvey goes round the outside and takes the final podium position. But JB also taking a 3-second penalty in the process. Surely he's not going to make a dive down here. Very sensible driving from the pair of them then, and JB13 surrenders that podium position. So Vegas then, the next car looking to catch that battle for the podium, and Harvey is now 11 seconds behind Jay Williams. Can he get that done as Racing Slade has lost it at turn 12 then, but he's kept going, still got the majority of his wing, but that end plate will cause you a little bit downforce problems here at Albert Park. There is Carter, unfortunately. As Warrior Huntsman sets the fastest lap of the race down in P10. He's now all over the back of Greg Sangam, who runs wide on the exit, and Warrior Huntsman takes the inside line, gets through nice and easy. He's up into 9th place. Next up on his list is the 11-second gap to the McLaren of Matt. Strolling quite nicely down in 8th place. Started outside the top 10, but has taken advantage of the spins and put himself in the points. Super Gabu in 7th. Shadow Moody in 6th then, but he's got Gabu just a 1.5 seconds behind. We've got Racing Slade and Murphy in the pit lane then. As Matt Warner, I just said he was cruising along comfortably. He's been given a 3-second time penalty. Oh, it's a bit of a kick out from JB13 though, and that's allowed Murphy right onto his gearbox, but he's backing off through that corner. But JB13 runs very, very wide. Is this the time? There he goes. Vegas goes round the outside, and JB13 is now down in 5th place. But once again, so he pits. So JB13 pits then. Not quite sure what's happened there. He had no front wing damage, but he is into the pit lane. So a front wing change is required then. Obviously some superficial damage that we cannot see has meant he needs to enter the pit lane. What about at the front of this race? Harvey pulling away from Vegas now at 13.4 seconds behind Jay Williams, but 4 seconds ahead of Vegas, who's got Shadow Moody and Super Gabu. Not Super Gabu, I think that's Carter then, just behind these two, but we'll stay on board as they come through turn 6. The Alfa Romeo struggling on the exit there, but he's keeping in touch with the Mercedes driver. Greg's given a 5-second penalty for corner cutting then. He's gone off again at turn 1. How unfortunate for him, but that put Capo Wanda back into the top 10. The two AlphaTauris both struggling with spins but scoring points for their constructors. Here we go then, JB13 on those fresh set of wets is right behind the AlphaTauri of Warrior Huntsman, who runs a little bit wide on the exit. Is this going to be JB13 going around the outside on the run down towards turn 9? He keeps it together, but Warrior Huntsman's got the inside line. This is nip and tuck as they come around, and Warrior Huntsman with a little bit of a pinch maintains his place. Will stay on board though for the run down towards turn 11 and 12. It's a great exit from the Red Bull car on his sister AlphaTauri. He's looking to go around the outside. Oh, and they're very nip and tuck. But he goes down the inside at 12. Forces the AlphaTauri off the track almost. But he's back on the outside. Warrior Huntsman retail. Oh, and JB13's gone round. They were very nip and tuck through that corner. And in these wet conditions, it's no surprise to see him in the wall there. So that's another pit stop for JB13. That's very, very unfortunate. But with that, when you're that close to another car, it's, especially in these wet conditions, it's no surprise to see one suffer the unfortunate fate of ending up in the wall. But Warrior Huntsman now on a charge. 2.5 seconds between him and Matt Warner. We'll jump back to the front of this race then, and the top two still pulling away from the pack. It's that 5.5 second gap maintaining between the Haas of Nelu and the Williams of Jay Williams, as JB13 looks like he's retired from this session then in the pit lane. So unfortunate for him. He had a good start to this race and a good qualifying, but these wet conditions aren't for everybody, and unfortunately he is out of this session. But Warrior Huntsman then has already caught up to the back of the McLaren. But that McLaren gets a very good exit out of turn 8. You can see on the minimap in the bottom right of your screen there just how close the group of cars between 4th and 6th is, with the Haas and other Mercedes of Murphy caught in the middle with the back markers. You can see, but Warrior Huntsman then coming out of turn 12. Is this going to be where he gets that 7th place from Matt? Overtake button is depressed, but the McLaren once again has great traction coming out of the corner, and he stays in front for now. As we jump back up to this battle for the podium, Manu FC Harvey 15 seconds behind 2nd place, but he's pulling away from 4th place. That gap now 6 seconds. Shadow Moody and Super Gabu looking to catch up with him, but you can see in the middle there was the McLaren of Racing Slade. That's the Haas of Carter trying to make a move on the Red Bull of Super Gabu. These backmasters hopefully don't cause enough trouble, but there is Warrior Huntsman right on the gearbox of Matt Warner then, as they come through turn 2. Is he going to make a move on the outside into turn 3? Not quite this time. We'll need a good exit though through turn 4, but Matt Warner keeping a nice defensive line. They're doing very well to keep the championship leader behind. Looking to make a move through 5, not quite enough. But he's got good traction down in towards turn 6, and Matt once again taking a very nice defensive line, keeping the championship leader at bay. Vegas given a 3-second time penalty. How significant will that be in the battle for 4th place? As Racing Slade overtakes Murphy amongst that pack. But this is probably the closest positional battle on track, and Warrior Huntsman now all over the back, going to look down the inside in the run down towards turn 11. Who's going to be latest on the brakes then? Looks like the McLaren's going to be able to keep in front indeed. But how do you approach turn 12 then if you're Warrior Huntsman? Not this time, as Super Gabu gets past Shadow Moody then amongst all this madness with the back markers. Super Gabu takes 5th place from Shadow Moody. And he's currently within that 3 seconds. Oh, Shadow Moody is also given a 3-second time penalty then. Should be safe in 6th place. We've got just 5 laps left of this race. So much going on that it's flying here at Albert Park, as Warrior Huntsman finally gets the move done round turn 16. He takes 7th place from the McLaren of Matt Warner, but his teammate is only 6 tenths behind as well. Is he going to get this move done on this lap as they come through turn 2 now? A little bit further away than his teammate has been, but Warren Huntsman now has got 23 seconds in 5 laps to try and chase down, but as we know, anything can happen in these wet races. As we see Nelu in a world of his own then at the front, took pole position and has looked comfortable ever since. 8 seconds between him and the Williams of J. Williams. As Nelu goes on those 11 lap old wet, a 1:39.7, taking the fastest lap point as it stands. MUFC Harvey 8 seconds now. He's clear of Vegas, but he's not closing the gap to the Williams, which is thing as we got yellow flags in. That is for JD. Then he's suffered another spin. By the looks of things, all run wide. Not sure. Pole sitter last week, I think he took the victory as well, if my memory serves me correct. But this week, not able to replicate that form, as we've got the battle on this front pack still going strong. Or as the McLaren race lives on very wide. Vegas still in 4th place, but Super Gabu is as close as he's ever been. Is he going to make a move down the outside of turn 3? Don't want to brake too late, as you'll be in the gravel trap, but both drivers leaving enough room. He's going to go round, try to go down the inside of turn 4. What a move from Super Gabu as he takes 4th. Oh, and the Mercedes of Vegas runs into the back of him, but luckily they're both still going. That is a super move from Super Gabu. Vegas now down in 5th place. Remember, both he and Shadow Moody have 3-second penalties, so that gap of 1.4 to Super Gabu is effectively a 4.4, and the gap to Shadow Moody remains 2.4 then, as JD takes the final point on offer from Greg. Capawanda has indeed made it past the McLaren of Matt. There's so much going on, I don't know where to look, but as we search through the intervals, it looks like the closest battles on track are for 4th and 5th, as Nelu Safa goes fast out once again, a 1:39.5. It's racing Slade's getting very racy with Vegas, but obviously 2 different cars. Ghosting is off. Ghosting is... Oh, Shadow Moody in the background. They're having a little kick out from the rear as they come through. Is there front wing damage I can see on the front of the Alfa Romeo? I believe it is, yes. So Shadow Moody missing his front wing end plate might be an explanation for why he's struggling through that middle sector in particular. Dropping now behind Vegas at almost a few tenths a lap. Warren Huntsman 18 seconds behind him, but I don't think he'll be able to catch that gap in 3 laps. Racing Slade's given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Running wide probably is the catch there. Matt Warner 4 seconds behind Capawanda now. He's got 21 seconds to Jay in the Renault. Greg still in this race. It's great to see. Greg didn't have the best of races here last year in this season opener, finding himself in the wall at the turn 11 and 12 chicane on lap 1, but he's made it 11 laps further this time. Good on you, Greg. Apologies if that sounds patronising, Greg. I don't mean that. We love you here at CRL. So 9 seconds again, that gap from Nello Safi with that fastest lap of 153.7 I think it was. Saw him extend the gap. It's now 9 seconds with Harvey 20 seconds behind. So this podium positions seem formality. It's not 139.7, it's 139.5 now, as Nelu just keeps getting faster in these conditions. Super Gabriel, after getting past Vegas, then has managed to pull away, making it 3 seconds now, but he's got 9 seconds between him and Harvey. I don't think he'll be able to catch. They're about to start lap. Oh, Greg's disconnected from the session. We've had a problem. Greg is suffering from technical issues and is no longer in the session. Oh no, Greg. Hopefully he can rejoin us as we scroll through the pack then. Shadow Moody still within that 3 second time of Vegas. Remember, he also has a 3 second time penalty. Oh, as he takes a little bit too much curb on the exit of turn 2 to AlphaTauri, still in the top 10 though. Matt running very wide on the exit of 14. Lucky to keep that car in a straight line. It's another 3-second time penalty for Shadow Moody then. That's 6 seconds. So Warrior Huntsman has 9 seconds to find in 2 laps. Can he do it and take that 6th place? There is JD currently taking the final point on offer. The pack starting to thin out then quite a bit. You can see the closest battle on track is between Shadow Moody and Vegas, so I'm not quite sure what has happened there. Oh, we've got a spinner. AlphaTauri of Warrior Huntsman has lost it. I believe that's at turn... Yes, that looks like it's at turn 6. Sorry, turn 5. So that is turn 5, and Warrior Huntsman is down in 9th place now. His teammate has jumped him into P7, and he's now back behind the McLaren of Matt. We saw with just a few laps ago how very well Matt was defending against the AlphaTauri, but he's got to do it all again now. Luckily, he looks to have kept his front wing intact. No, there's a front wing plate missing. Oh, it's agony for the AlphaTauri driver. He had 8 seconds between him and his teammate, but he finds himself 12 seconds behind his teammate now. Capawanda also with front wing damage. Not been a great day for the AlphaTauris, but it looks like they will maintain and extend their lead at the top of the championship with the sole Ferrari in 3rd place. Unless, no, my maths is incorrect. So the gap will be shorter, despite the fact there is only one Ferrari, considering Harvey will be taking that 15 points then. So there is Capawanda, 3rd in the championship and top of the constructors with his teammate Matt Warner starting to pull away from Warrior Huntsman in 8th place. Some good points for Matt then on offer today if he can keep this same as Nelu starts his final lap of the race. Barely featured in this live stream because he's been so comfortable in these conditions. Took pole position in the dry and has controlled the race from the start in the wet. A few drivers obviously caught out by the lack of formation lap, but him and the Williams able to conquer as MUFC Harvey currently in 3rd then. 8 seconds clear of Super Gabby with Vegas in 5th. Shadow Moody in 6th. Remember, Shadow Moody has 2 6 penalties. Oh, that's Racing Slade going wide again and into the pits. So the Racing Slade into the pits then from 13th. Been unfortunate for him. Don't quite think he's been able to master these wet conditions, and Murphy unfortunate since suffering that DSQ, currently in 13th then. So it's a purple sector 2 from Nelu on this final lap. We're coming through the final sector now then, turns 13 and 14. So we see there is the Renault of JD in front of him, currently occupying P10. If you did see as well, Greg has rejoined the session down in 11th, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to the fingers. There it is. So there is Nelu Safu coming round turn 15, and he strolls to success here at Albert Park. Takes his first victory and Haas's first victory of the season with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.5, I think that was. As we see, there is the Williams coming across in 2nd place, just like Nelu, although he's dropped by 14 seconds eventually by the end of that race. So very comfortable. And Harvey coming through turn 16 now. Great drive from him, 8 positions gained, qualified in 11th, crosses the line to take 3rd position. We wait on Super Gabu then to come across the line. Remember, there are penalties still in play. I'm not quite sure who's got them, but I think Super Gabu will only be 4th. Yes, indeed, he stays 4th, so the podium is complete. Then we wait for the other drivers to complete their laps. Vegas, very solid drive from him, sees him come across in 5th place. What about Shadow Moody? And there you can see his penalties, see him down in 6th place. The Alpha Tauri is then next to cross the line. That's Capo Wonder, suffering with that front wing damage. See him drop down into 7th, but he still gains points in that Constructors as he crosses the line there, and looks like Matt may have held off the charge of Warrior Huntsman. Great drive from the McLaren as he comes across the line now then. And Warrior Huntsman just behind him. And Warrior Huntsman jumps the McLaren then at the line. So the Alpha Tauri 7th and 8th, with Matt in 9th, and the final point going to the Renault of JD. And very rightly so, the driver of the day, MUFC Harvey. What a great drive from 11th to 3rd. But there is your winner then, with his little shuffle on the podium. Nelu Safu took pole position, wins the race, and takes the fastest lap, the so-called triple crown of the weekend, if you may call it that. And the Williams and the Ferrari rounding out the top 3. So that is it for round 4 here in the CRA, part of the CRL. And there we have it. There is your top 10. And Alpha Tauri's extend their lead, stay top of the title challenge then in the Constructors, but it's MUFC Harvey in the Ferrari, its sole representative, able to cut that gap down by just a few points. So as we move on to next week, will it be a repeat of this week? Can Nelu repeat back-to-back corrects? I don't think we've had a back-to-back winner here in the CRA, but next week is a different challenge to here at Albert Park as we take on the city streets of Baku. Very interesting there. So yes, as we have completed round 4, we still await our first double winner of the year, but it is still the Alpha Tauris who lead both the Drivers and Constructors Championships. So tune in with us next week as we take on the city streets of Baku. That's all for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for all our races across the week. Mondays is the CRA, and then on Thursdays we have our championship tier and our second tier as part of the CRC. It's also the second round of the Cone Racing Cup, so don't forget to tune in for those, and I'll see you next week. Unless